Hi, everyone, and welcome to Everything Under the Moon, the podcast where we talk about everything under the moon, but mainly focus on the paranormal. My name is Becky McKiddy-Gydesen. I am your host tonight, and my co-host for the evening is Kyrra. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, Becky. I am doing well tonight. How about you?
I am hanging in there. I just got back from vacation. I had a very busy week, but we'll get to that in a moment. I want to go ahead and bring in our guest and welcome Joni. Hi, Joni. How are you tonight? All right. Joni, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hi.
Okay. Hi. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We are doing well. Thank you very much. For everyone who's tuning in, you want to introduce yourself and tell everyone where you're from?
My name is Joni Mahan. I'm a paranormal investigator and the author of 25 paranormal books, and I own and operate Haunted New Harmony Ghost Walk.
Very cool. And we're going to get to all that in a minute. And we're going to talk all things paranormal, but we tend to get off subject too. And we're famous
That's
for that,
fine.
aren't we, Kyrra?
Yes.
So, as you can see in my background, I'm like trying to show, I got my Christmas decorations up. So, we went last week. Was it last week? 2 weeks ago? Whenever Thanksgiving was.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks. I'm losing track. We had such a busy week. So I don't know. Are you all Stranger Things fans? Do you watch Stranger Things?
I haven't watched the new season at all. I'm not super invested, but I've seen it up until this new season.
Yeah. What about you, Joni? Are you a Stranger Thing fan?
Oh yeah. I rewatched the entire series in preparation for season 5. So yes.
Yeah. So that came out like on Wednesday, like the day before Thanksgiving. So we were glued to our TV watching the first like 4 episodes of that. And then Thursday
Yeah.
on Thanksgiving, did you like the first 4 episodes? I loved them,
I did,
especially the
I
last
did,
one.
yeah. Yes, I did 2 and 2. So I spread it over 2 nights just to make it last a little longer.
Yeah, we did it all in one night because we had so many things going on. But that very last episode, I don't want to give spoilers because if people didn't watch it, but that very last episode with Will and what he was able to do, that was really cool.
That was really
Everyone
neat.
in my household was like, "Oh my gosh!" Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
great. I really,
So we'll
really
see what
enjoyed
happens.
it.
I think,
It worked really well.
yeah, I think the next set comes out what, Christmas Eve? I think. They're releasing it in like 3 parts, and I think the next one's Christmas Eve, if I remember straight. I don't remember.
I think
Yeah.
so.
It's all the
But yeah,
holidays.
the holidays. Yeah, they decided to do the whole holiday thing, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's or something. I guess they want to make people
Because they
cry
knew,
on the holidays.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and they knew we'd just sit and watch all of them at once if they didn't spread it out.
Yeah, so they're spreading it out, but we're looking forward to the next set. And then on Thanksgiving Day, we went and saw Zootopia 2 because I'm,
Oh,
a
I heard
huge
that was
Disney.
good.
It was,
Okay.
in my opinion, better than the first. I loved the
Okay.
first one, and I think the second one is even better. And I loved it. I like want to go see it again. I like loved the movie so much. And there's like this little scene between Judy and Nick, and I'm like bawling my eyes out. I'm like, oh my
No.
gosh, it's so sweet. Leave it to me to cry at a Disney movie.
I always cry. Every time I watch a movie, I feel like I end up crying at least at one spot. I feel like if there's any emotion whatsoever, I'm the one crying.
Yep, me too. And Aubrey will sit there. My oldest that's living with me, she'll cry with me. So it's like her and I need the tissues. My youngest Bailey, she'll like make fun of us. She'll be like laughing at us because we're crying. We're
Hmm.
sitting bawling our eyes out, and Bailey's laughing. So I try to hide my, wiping my tears. But then we went and we had Thanksgiving dinner with extended family. How was your guys' Thanksgiving? Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Fine. Yeah. I got to share it with family, so that's always fun. So yeah, it was good. Too much to eat, and
Isn't that always the
plenty of
case?
pumpkin pie.
Yeah, mine
Well,
was
you're not doing it right if you don't eat too much, right?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Mine was good. It's just all my extended family has left Arizona. A lot of them moved back to upstate New York. So it was just my household. My sister works on like the holidays because she's a TSA officer.
Mhm.
So she had to work till like 7:30 that night. So we didn't eat until like 8 o'clock when she
Well,
got home. So it was very late Thanksgiving for us.
yeah, well, I know you don't eat meat, but the turkey help puts you to sleep, so I'm sure everyone slept good that night then.
Yeah, well, I think I was the first one to bed, and we went Black Friday shopping. That's more important to my family is the Black Friday shopping because that was a tradition we did with our dad, my sister, and I. So we keep up
Mhm.
that tradition kind of deal. So
I avoid Black Friday shopping. I think I've done it twice in my lifetime. About 2 or 3 times. I never. It's not on my list of things to do. What about you, Joni? Do you do Black Friday? No.
No. No, too many people, too many crowds. I do most of my shopping online because, it just comes right to my door and I don't have to go out.
Yeah,
So,
that makes sense. I like online shopping when it comes to certain things. Certain things I'd rather go see in person. So there's certain
mm-hmm.
things, especially clothes. I will not buy clothes online because they always fit differently. And I'm like, I'd get it
Oh
and it
yeah.
would be all messed up. And I'd be like, well, I don't want that. Uh,
yeah,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
there's certain things that you kind of have to buy online nowadays because you can't find it in person anywhere. So many different,
Right, right.
stores have closed and you're limited and it's sad. Like all my Disney,
Yeah. I live
you know?
uh
yeah.
yeah.
No more
Yeah,
Disney
I
Plus.
bet. Gotta go to specific stores for that or online.
Yeah. I miss the Disney store. I miss it so much. But then Black Friday, I ended up packing and we left first thing Saturday morning. I think we were up at 5 a.m. and we were out the door. And we went to San Diego first, and we just we didn't do anything specific in San Diego. We just kind of went and saw the ocean
Mm-hmm.
and spent the night in San Diego. And then we started heading up to Anaheim, and we stopped at Dana Point, and we went to the Ocean Institute, which I've never been to before. So that was pretty cool to see, some of the
Mm-hmm.
little, aquariums and stuff. It wasn't anything huge, but it was cute. And then, of course, we made our way to Disneyland, where we spent 3 days in Disneyland, which was already super crowded,
Yeah.
even though we went when it was supposed to be downtime. I don't think Disneyland has a downtime. I don't.
No. Yeah.
It was busy. And I even looked at all the calendars, and everyone's like, oh, those days will have low crowds. No, they were not low crowds at all. And I didn't get to do everything I
No
wanted
such
to
thing.
do. So it was kind of sad, but I loved it though, and I can't complain. And my husband got me this beautiful, I don't know if you guys can see it because it's so, but it's my Disneyland bracelet. I got a Disneyland bracelet that
Oh,
I've been,
nice.
so it says Disneyland. It's in the
Ah,
mark.
okay.
And so that was my little gift from Disneyland. So I get to wear Disneyland with me all the time.
Yeah, wherever you go, you got Disneyland.
Yep. And, because I had to be in the Christmas spirit. So I even got Christmas bubbles.
Ah,
Have
yes.
you guys ever
Oh,
seen the
so
bubble makers?
cute.
I
Oh
like
my
there's, and this one
goodness.
talks.
Oh my goodness. That's great.
So I'm like, I had gotten a bubble maker when we went for Oogie Boogie Bash last year, but it broke.
Ah,
So I had to get a new one. And those ones smell like peppermint. The bubbles actually smell like peppermint.
oh, Interesting.
And I just got bubbles all over my computer. But it was nice. I had fun, and I'm even drinking out of my new Christmas Disney cup. So I had fun. I loved it. But we met different characters because, I'm a ride person. I'm a, character person. I do all that. And we were in Avengers campus and we met Ant-Man and the Wasp. They were together.
Okay.
And, they always stay in character, of course. That's their job. And Ant-Man made a comment when he was signing, the girls got ears that they had signed. And Ant-Man was making the comment when he was signing the ears how he wrote a book. And it is a real book that you can actually go buy that, they did it
Mhm.
on the movie. And so he made that comment and I made the comment back, yeah, I'm getting ready to write my first book too. It's getting ready to be published. And he goes, oh, what is it about? And I told him it was about ghosts. And we got in this whole conversation about the paranormal. Yeah. And,
I love it.
staying in character, saying how their friend Ghost from the Marvel movies, goes through walls and
Yeah.
that. And he was like, she can jump out and say boo and all that stuff to you. And, you could do all that. And I'm like, yeah, so let me investigate Disneyland and I'll. Didn't quite work. I didn't get to investigate it, but I just found it so interesting that that whole thing just turned into a talk about the paranormal.
Yes. Love it.
And he was like, oh, that sounds so interesting. And he was like totally into it. So, hey, even Disney people are into the paranormal. So, it's a win-win. Disney paranormal.
Yes.
Can't lose there. That's a win for me all the way around.
Mhm. For sure.
Yeah. So, Joni, you've written a ton of books. You said
Yes, I have 25. Yeah,
wow. And they're
25.
all on the
Working
paranormal?
on book. Yeah, most of them are true paranormal, but I do have a couple fiction series in there, so a little bit of everything. So yeah, but they're all based on the paranormal.
Very cool. So are any of them
Yeah.
like personal experiences or just things that you have researched?
A little bit of both. I had some really terrifying paranormal encounters early on in my career, and I one of them's called The Soul Collector, and that was my first paranormal book, and it was pretty horrific experience, but it was kind of a guide to other people if you're a sensitive or a medium, which I am. When you go out to investigate the paranormal, make sure that you have a good backup plan if something follows you home. So most people that doesn't happen to, but if you're a medium or a sensitive, sometimes that does happen. And then I've written other haunted house books about people who moved into haunted houses that ended up pretty much chasing them out. So I've got a little bit of everything in there.
Oh, very cool. Now I want to touch base because you just mentioned about how sensitives and mediums get followed home. Um,
Yes.
do you find that happens a lot?
Well, one of my books is called Ghost Magnet. So, and it's kind of my story. So, yes, I think some people are more inclined to have ghosts follow them than others. And I think it usually happens with people who are aware of the ghost. So, mediums and sensitives, I feel like we probably look different to them. Maybe we glow, or maybe we just look different. And
Kyrra, me too. Because of my cat. I do apologize. Keep talking. I have to pick this up.
no, you're fine. The only reason I don't have the same thing is because my office door is shut, or else I'd have at least two in here. So, um, but yeah, I do believe that some people are more inclined to have a ghost follow them than other people. So, and you don't know, it's kind of luck of the draw whether it's you or it's going to be the other person. So I feel like I really talk to people about taking every precaution when you start investigating and going into haunted locations. And really, you don't even have to go to haunted locations. If you're sensitive, you're going to pick up a ghost anywhere if it feels like it's going to follow you. I picked them up at Walmart, you know.
Yeah,
So they are everywhere.
they can
So you
follow
don't
you
have to
from
go
other
search
places.
for them. Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. Yep. So my internet
We
connection
just
is
had a
bad.
little glitch there for a second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it keeps
Yeah, the
cutting
reason I
out,
bring that
but
up
I'm
is because of the fact that I do get followed home. I'm like the one on my team that does get followed home. And
okay.
I think pretty much everyone can vouch for that. Or I'm the one that gets scratched or messed with to some degree. It's always me. So that's kind of
Oh,
why I was
that's
curious if, what your thoughts were on that. So,
I think they read our energy and they know. I mean, I'm able to cross them over if they want to go. I can't force anyone over, but and I
I
think
think
that
I have
comes
a little
through
bit
as
of a
well.
glitch and everything freezing up. Can you all hear me?
You're breaking up a lot,
Yeah, I
Becky.
can hear you.
Kyrra,
You're breaking up a
are
bit.
you there? You have a glitch?
Yeah.
I can hear
Oh,
you. You hear me now?
okay. We just completely went blank. Yeah, we went blank and then came back. I'm not really sure what's going on there, so we apologize for technical difficulties we might be right now. We try that in technical difficulties here.
Ghost in the machine.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I feel like whenever
The cat just wanted to
happens
be
a
on the
lot.
video, but I made him go away. But anyway,
Yeah, you are breaking
Yeah,
up
you
big
keep
time,
freezing.
Becky.
Yeah, I can't hear her at all. Yeah, there. Okay, now you're back.
it's so glitchy.
I thought it was my internet, but it may be all of us.
I think
Okay, I
that's
have a
happened before to
question.
us. I think we've had a bunch of things happen all at once
Am
because
I
we're
the
like,
only one that
ah.
keeps freezing up and glitching, or are all of you doing it too? I think we just lost Kyrra.
I think
I'm
you're
still
the only
here.
one that keeps breaking up. Yeah.
Hey, Stan, I think we're all okay. I'm gonna get a hold of my producer and let him know that we keep freezing up and glitching and see what can happen.
Well, it seems to be kind of
Kyrra, I
okay
just saw
right
your
now.
message that we're breaking up and freezing a lot. So
It
let's
seems
let's
better right
see
now.
here.
I can hear you now. You're not freezing right now, so maybe we're past it.
You just you just kind of pause though.
Oh, it's me now. Dang
I'm
it.
not if it's happening to all three of us. It must be through StreamYard then. Let's see if we can get this fixed. We'll go ahead and make do. StreamYard is much better than this. On. Let's see. This is not good. I keep coming in and out. I don't know how all of you are, but my screen keeps like.
You're frozen now.
Can you all hear me? Go look for.
You're you're breaking up again.
Every once in a while. Every once in a while we can hear you, and then you freeze.
I know. It's every time I think it's getting better. It,
I'm just relieved to know it's not my internet. I
it's like
thought
we're
that
getting half
was
of a
it was me.
conversation.
Yeah.
No, it's all of us. So I don't know.
Must be StreamYard.
I'm trying to get all of my people to know that it's like glitching a lot. So I don't know why, if it's StreamYard, if it's on his end, I don't know, but we'll kind of go with it. And we apologize for the technical difficulties, and hopefully you can all understand us. Okay, we were talking about the ghost following us home and your books. So you had like a lot of experiences with that. So that's what made you write what.
Yeah,
And we're
I
frozen.
don't know if everybody can hear me as well, if I keep breaking up or not. But I
We can
I
hear
was born.
you. You just kind of like freeze up here and there.
Okay. Well, I was born a sensitive, so I was aware of ghosts from the age of like 4 and didn't really understand what I was dealing with and really kind of ran from it. I was afraid of it. But I had paranormal encounters all throughout my childhood and through my teenage years, especially my teenage years. And it wasn't until really I was an adult and I moved into my very first home on my own with my husband, and I was pregnant at the time that we encountered our first really haunted house. But I still was afraid of it. I didn't want to deal with it. It wasn't until after my divorce when I was in my 40s before I decided to get brave and really learn about the paranormal more because I felt like knowledge is power. And the more I knew, the better chance I had of protecting myself because I just kept having these paranormal encounters. And so I kind of opened up and learned how to use my mediumship a little bit better. I worked with a psychic medium, went to a lot of haunted locations, worked with another budding medium who was coming into her abilities too. And that's when they became aware of me. When I say they, I mean anybody on the other side. I always warn people, if you stare into the abyss will stare back at you. And that's what happened to me. And that's how I got entangled with the soul collector. It was a very nasty entity that followed me home, and I could not get rid of it. And I lived by myself. I was freshly divorced, and it was terrifying, terrifying. So once I finally came out of that, I thought, I really need to learn more about this. And, so that's when I really started researching and really investigating hard. Even though I was having a lot of paranormal encounters, I knew that I needed to learn more before I could handle this. So finally to a point where I'm in a better place now, but it's taken me 20 years to get there. So
All right, I do apologize. It keeps glitching really bad, and I cannot get a hold of my producer. Um, I really don't know what to do. It
Stan
says
just
he's
said in
in
the chat
chat,
he
but
checked
I
it.
think he must have stepped away.
He said he just checked it.
Oh, I just checked it. Okay. Yeah, it's like really bad. Like half your story there, and I felt so bad. I'm like trying to listen to you, and it kept cutting up. Hopefully, maybe he's fixing it, and hopefully it's good.
I heard her on my end,
Are we still
Becky.
glitching?
So it might be you, Becky.
Are we frozen again? Yeah, we're all frozen again. What is going on?
I I can see everybody but you. You're the only one frozen.
Okay.
I can see Kyrra. So yeah, I think it might be you.
I think it might be you,
Hate to
Becky.
say
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. He says it's not StreamYard. It's checking on something.
Yeah, I was
No,
able to hear
is it
all of
me?
your
But you
story,
guys keep.
Joni. So
So you want me to just keep talking? If everybody can hear me, is your producer able to hear me as well? Can you guys hear me?
So,
I can hear
Kyrra,
you. He
freezing
says
up
yes,
for
he
you
can
now?
hear
Okay.
You're
you.
fine?
I can hear her. It's you I can't hear, Becky.
Kyrra, you'll have to take over the show and I'll come back in, but we'll wait to see if Stan comes up with anything.
Yeah.
Is anything freezing up for you, Kyrra, or are you fine now?
I'm
Stan,
fine.
yeah, Stan
It's
says he can hear me.
you're the I said you're the one, Becky, that keeps freezing up. I was able to hear all of Joni's story.
All right, so
I mean, I can just keep talking if you want me
all
to.
right, I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Oh
leave.
yes.
I'm
Okay.
gonna leave and come.
All right. So Joni, you're
Maybe
talking
log
about
out.
you're talking about like your book and everything, and you talked about the Soul Collector. What are some other like stories from your books that you feel like have really like left a like
Well,
presence or like a lasting impression on you, I guess.
okay. Well, a lot of them, but yeah, one of my more popular books is a book called Bones in the Basement. It's about the haunting of the S.K. Pierce Haunted Victorian Mansion, which is located in Gardner, Massachusetts. So I am in Indiana now, but I
Mhm.
spent 30 years in Massachusetts. And there was a beautiful old Gothic looking Victorian that was run down, and I was well aware of it because I it was on my path to running errands, and I would look at it. And then one day there was a for sale sign in the yard, and I'm like, ooh, I wanted so bad to buy that house, but it wasn't feasible. And then somebody did buy it, and I kept tabs on it, and then they started opening it up for investigations, and that's when I learned that the people that bought it were having some pretty terrifying experiences. Well, it turns out they loved Victorian homes. The wife did, Lillian, and she had always wanted to own her own Victorian house. And they moved from the suburbs of Boston out to Gardner, which is more central Massachusetts,
Mhm.
and bought this house. And little things start happened at first. They were sitting in the kitchen one day and a planter just scooted across the floor all by itself, and they would hear footsteps and things would get moved, and it just kind of escalated. Well, they knew the house was haunted because it had already been on the TV show Ghost Hunters
Oh, okay.
before they bought it. So they watched that episode, but they didn't believe in ghosts. They said, "Oh, we're just getting a good deal. These
Mhm.
people are just foolish." But the house showed them better. And it escalated. They only lasted 2 years there before they were
Oh
chased
wow.
out of that house. So, and it just it changed hands, and another couple owned it for I think 11 years, and they just sold it. So there's a new group of people that have purchased it, and to this day, it's not lived in. It hasn't been lived in since Edwin and Lillian fled the house, but it's open for investigation. So
Okay.
a lot of people go in and investigate that house, and which I think kind of increases the haunting because as an investigator that if we have something with us and we go somewhere else, that ghost may go, "Hey, this is a great location. I think I'll jump off here." And so some of these haunted houses become more haunted over time with ghosts that have nothing to do with the property. And sometimes I think that might be the case with that house as well. So still a lot of stories coming out of that house, but I captured the story about the first Edwin and Lillian that lived there, and just a really terrifying place. And then I wrote another haunted house book called Hanover Haunting, and it follows the story of Deanna Simpson in Hanover, Pennsylvania. She owned just a little brick, nondescript house, but it was so insanely haunted. That one has been on a number of shows. It's been on Ghost Hunters, The Dead Files,
Okay.
and quite a few. My paranormal story. I don't know, just a lot of different shows, and they were there for a number of years. They just couldn't sell it. Nobody wanted to buy it, especially after it had been on TV so many times.
Mhm.
Who wanted to buy it? But I went in and I met her. She had originally had another author lined up to write her book, and that author got sick and actually died of cancer.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and she was a very famous paranormal author, Mary Ellen Guiley, Rosemary Guiley. I always get her name mixed up, but she ended up she started getting sick, and she said, "I can't do this." And so Deanna reached out to me and asked me if I would write it. And I said, yeah. And I just so happened I was in Massachusetts visiting my grown children and was driving back to Indiana. And I thought, I'll just stop at Hanover, Pennsylvania, spend the night with her, get a feel for the house, hear a little bit about her story before I really commit to writing this book. And as a medium, the minute I walked in through that door, they were on me. And it was a really heavy, negative, terrifying haunting. And I felt it. And I kept going outside. I said, I can't sit in your house. And there's no way I'm spending the night. I ended up getting a hotel that night. But I told her that I would look who's back.
I think I'm okay now. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far so good. Um,
All right,
but
fingers
her
crossed.
I told her that I would write her book, but most important to me that I needed to help her get rid of the haunting. And I had a secret weapon up my sleeve. I had a shaman friend who has helped me over the past 20 years get rid of really negative attachments. And so he came in and helped her as well. So that was a really scary one, though. And I got to experience both of those stories myself, verify it because I don't know about you guys, but you get told a lot of stories, you see a lot of pictures, and you just don't know, are these people doing this for the fame or the Facebook likes, or is this legit? And especially today with all the AI pictures out there, you can't trust anything.
Oh yes,
And
very true.
it was important to me to be able to verify both of those stories. Of course, this was way before AI, but I'm glad that I got to experience it so that I could say, this is legit. This place is insanely haunted.
Well, I'm sorry I missed that story. I
Yeah.
seem to be okay now, though. I can hear
Yes.
you both. You don't look
Yep.
frozen in time, so I think I'm good.
Yay.
It just took me a while because my computer was being stubborn. So,
Of course.
of course, and when you're trying to
Yeah.
do something in a rush, you never get to.
Hmm.
Yep. That
So,
happens.
yeah.
That
So, what
happens.
were we talking about so I can kind of get filled in?
So Joni was just talking about some
She
of like
asked
the
me,
stories about like she wrote in her books
yeah,
and stuff.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I talked about two of my books, haunted house stories, about how the people came to be there and some of the things that happened to them and how they ended up leaving. So,
And
Okay.
something interesting I was gonna mention it, Joni, when you're talking about, is like how things may you feel like have gotten like more haunted over time because of, if other spirits start going to things. I've also too like thought about kind of like, as more and more people believe that something is haunted, like does that kind of like feed into it, like that whole
oh
energy?
yeah,
I thought about that too. That could be another thing. Nothing I've just thought
oh,
of.
absolutely. It's like a thought form,
Yeah.
like people, you could have a ghost somewhere and it could be something totally different, but there's a story, that goes around that location and they talk about, how it's, something pretty grandiose. And, I feel like the ghost there goes, well, that works for me. I'd rather be
Right.
a swashbuckling pirate than than the janitor. You know what I mean? So I think they take on another persona depending on, and who knows, sometimes maybe they think they are, maybe they've been told. Like the first book I talked about, the Victorian haunt bones in the basement, there was a story about a woman there was a bedroom with red wallpaper and they called it the red room. And the story that had been floating around was that a prostitute had been strangled there, and her and both her customer were haunting the mansion. And as a medium, I just never felt that. I would go in, I'm like, this is not right, this is not the right story. But so many people came in and said, oh yeah, this is the story. And I feel like it kind of took on a life of its own. I think years later we discovered that maybe it wasn't a prostitute because the prostitution was never legal in Massachusetts. So, it was not a, you know, um, a brothel or anything like that. It would have been weird if they could have had, I don't know, but we think it might have been one of the S.K. Pierce's second wife. That might have been her bedroom, and people were feeling her, but she was never a prostitute, you know. So
I do agree that I think sometimes you kind of the people themselves create the haunting and create the stories.
mhm.
Because I heard someone tell me long ago when I first started doing this that they worked at a hotel to where they made up a story and they made it up on purpose at Halloween time to just kind of get that Halloween vibe. But people that didn't even know the story started seeing it was like a bride or something. They started seeing that bride because they just kept telling that story year and year, over and over again, and it kind of like just created that haunting. So whatever haunts was there just kind of took that over, I guess, and made the bride or something, because people will go there and always say that they see the bride, even though that wasn't a true story to begin with. So I find that really odd, but I
Yeah.
guess it happens.
Well, yeah. Thoughts are powerful. You know, you can certainly, if enough people believe in it, you can empower something, you know. Maybe you're empowering something that's already there to become something else, or maybe you're creating something altogether on its own. There's been a lot of studies on thought forms and tulpas. There was a group of people that decided that they were going to create a tulpa, and I think they named him Adam. I think that was the story, and they all got together and they concocted his story, like down to the detail, what he looked like, what he did, you know, where he went. And then all of a sudden they started experiencing him as a ghost in real life, and it got out of control. So kind of reminds me a little of AI going on right now, you know, that we can empower things
Mhm.
that maybe we shouldn't be empowering. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I am I have a love-hate relationship with technology. I find it
mm,
to be good when it comes to things like this and keeping in touch with friends and stuff like that. But it
yeah,
truly hates
yeah,
me. As you could see tonight, technology hates me. And I hate the more advanced it's getting. It scares me how advanced technology is getting. And I'm like, has no one ever seen the movies like Terminator and and
Or
like
the Matrix.
iRobot
I
Like,
and
ah,
know.
things like that?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
people,
I know, it's like people building
I'm
housing
like, you're
developments
heading
over
that way.
cemeteries. Yeah. You know, yeah, have you never seen Poltergeist? You know, like
yeah,
watch where you
right.
build houses, you know. But yeah, AI, I love some of it, but I also see a potential for it getting out of control, especially as a writer. You can go on to Chat GPT and you can say, write me a book,
Oh yeah.
and it will. You know, you can get a whole book, and it's written better than I can write. You know, and I think I'm pretty good, but you know, you can see, you know, you can see how it pulls from other people's works, probably from my works as well. So you know, it's going to get to a point where it's going to eliminate the jobs that we don't want eliminated, like you know, music and art and writing. And you know, we would rather have it eliminate the tasks that we don't want to do. You know, we don't want it to eliminate the things we do want to do, right? You know?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, and it amazes me how many videos are being created with AI too.
Yeah.
Like, I constantly see like those videos of like amusement park rides like going haywire or something weird going on with them, and I'm like, oh my god. And the sad thing is people won't research, and some people will believe everything they see or hear.
Hmm.
It's like they're just like, oh my
Yeah.
god, did you hear about that amusement park ride that did this or that? And it's like, that's AI. Yeah, that wasn't real, but people will believe it. That's the scary part.
I like
It's
to
getting so
I like to
scary.
go into the comments. Yeah. Go into the comments and see how many people are like, wow, you know, there was one where it had raccoons jumping on a trampoline, and it was supposed
Yeah.
Oh
to be
yeah.
looked like a security camera. And everybody's
Yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh, that's great." And I'm like, "That is AI." And I kept it myself, didn't say anything. And then the next one was a group of bears jumping on a trampoline, and people are
Yeah.
like, "Wow, that's really crazy." And it's like, you people are so gullible, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah, I know I
yeah.
saw that
So
too.
you
And
see it.
I love animals. I used to have a trampoline, but I never had animals except for my dogs jump on my trampoline, and they
Yeah.
didn't actually jump. They jumped
Right,
up there to get
right,
a better view.
right,
But
right,
it's
right. So
scary. It
yeah,
literally scares
well,
me how much the stuff is taken over.
well, and with the paranormal realm, people are posting pictures of ghosts and pictures and videos of ghosts and Bigfoot, experiences, and you can't trust anything anymore. You don't know. Used to
Yeah.
be at the very beginning of AI, you could look and if it had six fingers, you knew it was AI. But now they've gotten so good, it looks so
Right.
real. And it's like, I don't know, unless I filmed it myself or I know the person that filmed it, I'm probably not going to believe it at this point.
Oh
Technology's just
yeah.
gotten too good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, being, the founder and leader of my team, I will get all the emails and people will be like, "Oh, look at this. This is this." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. I can't say for sure unless I'm there and I'm
Yeah.
witnessing that. I can't tell you because I'm not going to sit there and say, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you have a ghost," and then they go, "Haha, it was AI. I got you." Yeah.
Hmm.
You don't
I,
know.
and you already probably like me, I get a ton of pictures and a lot of them are easy to explain. It's a reflection of clouds in a window. That's a big one, or trees in a window. And people would say, "Look, I can see a face," and it's, to me, if you have to circle it, if you have to
Yeah.
circle it with with a mark on the picture, then it's probably not paranormal. And I really don't think most of the time ghosts are visible in pictures. There's a few, like the really old ones, like there's some from the 1930s, that before we had the ability to manipulate pictures, but that
Right.
I do believe. I've seen a few, but even those, sometimes pictures, they could, there'll be somebody in the picture, they'll say, "Oh, nobody else was here except me and, me and my friend," and they forget that there's actually somebody else there, and they catch that person in the picture. So I feel like a lot of these pictures are explainable, but unless you're there, you don't know for sure.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I'm always telling people. I'm like, if you want to know if you have a spirit, then have us come in and investigate because otherwise I can't tell you. I can't base it off of a
Hmm.
picture. I can't base it off of a video. I need to be there and I need to, do my investigation so I know. And I
Right,
think one of my
right.
big thing nowadays though is I get a lot of home security, like the blinks and,
Mm.
whatever else they use. And people have dust in their homes. This is Arizona, especially. We have so much dust in the air. And I will constantly get videos of dust. And they're like, "Look at all these orbs." And I'm
Orbs.
like, "It's dust."
Yeah.
It's dust. You're not going to have a million orbs all flying in the same way. But I get so
Oh,
annoyed.
I get
With
so, I mean, yeah. I get annoyed by it too. And my very first experience with that was actually on a ghost walk. My very first ghost walk that I took was in Nashville, Tennessee, and they guaranteed everybody would get a ghost picture. And I thought, well, this should be interesting. And so what they did was they led
it,
us
right?
to the end of the street to the stop sign, and across the street was the state house. And they waited until the stoplight turned red, and they said, "Okay, take a picture." And of course, there's dust, floating in the air from all the cars that just went through. And all the people were like, "Oh my gosh, look, I bet I got 100 ghosts in my picture." And I just walked away from the ghost walk at that point. I'm like, I can't participate in this. You know, it was just insane. And I'm like, I'm kind of glad it happened because I know, what not to do on a ghost walk.
Right. Right. Yeah, I remember one time getting a picture. They were telling me that they were at, oh gosh, what was it? Like a Native American powwow type thing. I you know, I don't want to offend anyone with me getting that wrong, but I just know that there's a lot of dancing and they were in dirt and they're taking pictures.
Yeah.
And of course the dirt's being picked
Yeah.
up and there's like ton of dirt and dust in the air and there's like all the little dots and they're like, look at all the spirits. And I'm like, okay. You do realize that's dirt and dust, right? But it's amazing.
And I know you're probably like me too, is a lot of times these are customers you're dealing with, and you
Yes,
don't want to isolate or make anyone feel small or silly. So, I will say things like, "Oh, that's really interesting.
that's what we do.
Has anything, and I'll say, I don't necessarily believe in orb pictures, but has anything else happened there? Do you have any stories, of
Right.
experiences?" And try to take it in a different direction. Like, I'm not, I do feel like, if a circle, a round orb shape would be the most economical shape for a ghost to take, but I there's just, too moisture, if you get rain or, I've
Yes.
had people send me pictures of bugs, that they've taken with a flash and they're like, "Look, I got a fairy picture." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, a fairy mosquito."
Yeah, yeah,
So it's so hard. I make people really sad a lot. So
Yes, yes. Because they're thinking that they have something, and it's like, I hate to
yeah,
disappoint you. You know, like
yeah,
I've told like my ghost hosts that do my tours and stuff. I'm like, don't disappoint people. Don't put them down in any way, shape, or form. And
yeah,
but don't get yourself caught in saying, "Oh yeah, that's a ghost," because of the fact that then we could look bad. So yeah, I tell
yeah,
them,
yeah,
it's interesting, and
yeah,
if there's been other
yeah,
activity or if they have any concerns, to contact us. That's basically what I tell everyone to do. But yeah, it's like the theory out there of all these little orbs and stuff being paranormal. It kind of drives me crazy. I'm totally against that. We had a bug,
yeah. You're
remember,
too
Kira,
similar.
that went into our
Oh,
laser grid that
that
freaked us
scared
out.
me. I was so excited for a minute because okay, up until that point, I've been part of the team for like 7, 8 months. And when things have happened, I was always turned the other way. Like when something visual has happened. Like I heard things on EVPs, but I've never seen anything like visually happening. And so we're like at this one place, and then in the laser grid, and we see movement. I was like, oh my god! And then we look at it more, and we're like, it's a freaking moth.
Yep, we got a little bug shadow, not an actual
Yeah, and
shadow.
I was so excited at first because like 'cause it was so close, so it was like fairly big, so like it almost was like almost human like, because it was like, and then it like started going, and you're like, it's a bug. We saw it like fly away from the laser grid, and we're like, it's a bug, dang it. And then it took a couple more
So
months. I finally saw
disappointing.
something in person.
I had a similar experience. I was taking a picture through a storefront window at one of the locations on my ghost walk. And when I looked at the picture later, I'm like, oh my gosh, look, there's a little boy walking through the picture. And it took me a little while to realize that was a reflection of my fingers on my phone, like reflecting on the glass. And it looked, very, just the way it was. And of course, if that's what you're hoping to see, sometimes that's what
Mhm.
you do see. And
Yeah.
I don't think I think I caught it before I posted it to say, "Oh my gosh, look what we got on our ghost walk." But it's easy to do, really easy to do.
Yeah, it's easy, to mistake things. And this is why we like tear apart our evidence. I remember one time I did catch a shadow behind me, and that
Mhm.
evidence footage, I swear we spent like 6 hours trying to debunk it, trying to tear it apart, because I didn't want to go public with it until we knew it wasn't us. And we tore it apart, but it wasn't us. And that was like the best visual evidence I have ever gotten, was this shadow behind me. But Yeah, it's easy to do though, especially when you're excited and you're wanting to catch something. You're like, "Oh, look at that." And then,
You know,
you disappoint yourself.
well, and some of the most incredible things that I've seen, didn't have time to take a picture of. I've seen several apparitions. Probably the weirdest. Well, I don't know. One of them that I saw that was really creepy was at the SK Pierce Mansion. I was sitting at the kitchen table, as we did a lot. We would go hang out with the owners and just sit and talk. And all of a sudden you'd look up and it'd be like 2 a.m. Like we'd been there for hours talking. And one point I looked up and just happened to see a hand materialize on the door frame. And it was an old man's hand and it had like fat, like old knuckles. Like it was a sepia tone too. And it just disappeared at the wrist. And I gasped, but by the time everybody else turned to look, it had already disappeared. So those are the kind of things you wish you could capture. I've seen
Yes.
it, but to try to tell people what you've seen, it's crazy. So
Oh,
have
yeah.
you
It,
guys
it,
seen
it always
ghosts?
seems like you don't have your camera ready, or your, cameras aren't facing in the right direction. It always seems like that. I know there's been several times that we've done investigations that it's like the camera's facing the wrong way, or, only one person's looking the
Yeah.
right way. It's like, it's so
Yeah.
just split of the moment, snap of a finger, and it's like gone. And
Yeah.
it's frustrating because you're not catching that. Sometimes you're lucky, maybe you get something
Hmm.
that coordinates with the EVP, but visual I find very hard to capture. Anything visual I find very
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. I'm very good with audio. I can catch EVPs
Yes.
like crazy. I have a SoundCloud account with over, I don't know, must be close to 700 EVPs on there. But as far as photos go, I probably have maybe a couple that I can tell you that are probably paranormal.
All right.
Um, you know, but and again, they were ones that either I was there when it was taken and I know the extenuating circumstances, or it was something I took myself and debunked and or tried to debunk and couldn't debunk. So there's a big, maybe four to compared to 600, it's a lot. I
All
think
right.
audio is easier. I don't know. I think audio might be easier for them to provide their existence to us with
Mhm.
than visual. Like, have you guys seen ghosts? Have you seen a ghost?
I have. I've seen
Yeah.
several, but capturing them is something that,
Yeah,
I've
they're
captured like
gone.
one
Yeah.
shadow. I've seen them in my house. I've had shadows, I've had apparitions, I've woken up at night to, seeing an apparition by the side of my bed. So I've definitely seen them several times. But yeah, I capturing them
Hmm.
on, on something to prove that
Yeah,
I've seen
they're
them. I haven't
Yeah.
been able to.
right.
Yeah.
And there's the shock value. You like I had almost forgotten about this story, but some people I know were filming a documentary about the Elisa Lamb disappearance. The
Okay.
Canadian
Yeah.
tourist that disappeared in the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. So they flew
Mhm.
me out to LA, and we walked around the Cecil Hotel, and we couldn't get in because it was under construction. But anyways, we were staying in an Airbnb in Echo Park, like wasn't even really close to the. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and my covers from my bed were suspended, like somebody was holding them above
Oh,
my bed, like up 6 feet above the bed. And I'm normally somebody who does document everything. Like my friends get aggravated with me because I'm always taking pictures or videos. But it just was so shocking that my first reaction was to make it go away. So I grabbed the blankets and yanked them down. And then afterwards, I was terrified. Then I went, why didn't I take a picture of that? Because that would have been phenomenal, and
right.
now it's just my word,
Yeah.
here's what I saw. And, I don't know if it was something from the Cecil Hotel, warning me off, like, stay away. We don't want your story. The documentary was never found funding, so it was never made. But maybe the ghost, had a hand in that. I don't know. They definitely didn't want me being a part of it. So I don't know. It was weird though.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. I know, like when I've woke up and I've seen something in my room, my first reaction is close my eyes again, and
Yeah,
that's what
make it
some
go away. Yeah.
yeah, and that's what everyone always asks me. They're like, "Well, are you scared of this?" And I'm like, "It's not that I'm scared. It's like you said, it's like a shock. It's like someone sneaking up behind
Yeah.
you and going boom.
Startling.
You don't expect it. So when you don't expect it, you're like, "Oh my god." But then afterwards, you're like, "Oh wait,
Well, and
that was cool. What? Come
yeah.
back."
Yeah.
Well, I think, in the sanctity of your bedroom, that's supposed to be a place where you're safe, and that's your private area in your house. And for somebody to invade that, it almost feels like a home invasion. It's
Right,
shocking, it's surprising, and it's a little terrifying, especially if it wakes you up.
right.
Because when you wake up, you're not completely coherent at that point. And it's like, no, this is not, why don't you show yourself at the next investigation we do? Now that would be okay,
Right.
and let me have my camera ready. But, beside my bed in the middle of the night is not a good idea. you know.
Oh yeah, and there's been times that um I've gotten out of my shower and I've seen shadows in my house when I knew I was home alone. And I'm a gun
Oh
owner.
yeah, yeah.
So I thought someone
Oh,
broke into my house. So the first
Yeah,
thing I
I
did
mean,
was go and grab my gun. And I had it locked and loaded because I literally just got out of the shower and clear as day, there was something in my bedroom. So I was like, okay, lock and load, because I didn't know. But
yeah.
yeah, there's nothing. It was literally just I deal with that a lot. Not a lot lately. They haven't been very active in my house lately, but yeah, I used to deal with that all the time. I've had things out in my backyard where I thought it was my husband and I went to yell at him and he didn't answer. So then I yelled at him for not answering me. And he's like, I was never in the backyard. Both my daughter and I saw someone come to our front door and we kept waiting for the knock and nothing happened and it just disappeared by our front door. So yeah, things like that, it's just one of those things where I'm like, okay, that was a little weird. It doesn't really scare me, but it just kind of makes me, a little cautious sometimes because you never know if it's human or a ghost or what. And a lot of times I think, like I say, humans scare me more than ghosts. So if it's a
Yeah.
human I'm dealing with, I'm
yeah,
going to be more scared.
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely,
they,
absolutely. You can
they
defend
can
yourself
definitely cause more
against a
damage than the
ghost. Yeah,
ghost.
yeah, yeah. Oh, no,
Well,
yeah,
it
no
is.
doubt there. No doubt there.
Yeah, it's already been an hour. I know we got off to a really rough start, so I would love to have you come back because I would love to talk to you more. So after we get off air,
Yeah, we
let's
didn't
make
even talk
another
about
date.
ghost books. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because we
Okay.
didn't get to
Sounds
do
good.
any of that. So let's definitely do another
Yeah.
date. Hopefully, I won't have technical issues the next time. But go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you and where they can find your books. And then we'll definitely have you come back and talk more about your ghost walk next time.
Okay. Well, I have a website. It's either jonimahan.com or hauntednewharmony.com. It will take you to the same place. And my books are all available on amazon.com. And I have 5 books on Audible. So if people listen instead of read, I have several on there as well. So,
Okay, great. Well, like I said, I do apologize. I don't know what happened. Technology hates me though, so who knows? But I
could
will
have
get
been any of our computers.
Yeah, I will definitely get in contact with you and we will definitely reschedule and have you come back on because there's so much more I want to talk to you about. But thank you for coming
Absolutely.
on tonight. We appreciate it. I know Kyrra got to hear more stories than I did, so I'm a little jealous, but we will definitely bring you back on. So thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, have a wonderful night.
You
And
too.
for everyone else, Kyrra, go ahead and say what you want to say.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Thanks for holding in there while we figured out our technical difficulties. And as always, stay spooky.
Yes. Again, I apologize. I can't say it enough. Technology hates me. This just proves it over and over again. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will have Joni come back for sure to talk about her ghost walk. Remember to support local. That is so important right now. A lot of local small businesses are suffering. So please, if you're going to take a ghost tour, especially make sure it's locally owned and operated, not one of those big chain ones. Support local. Even if it's not a ghost tour, go out, find your local shops, and definitely help them out. We need it right now more than ever. Check out TucsonGhostCompany.com. That will tell you all about our team and what we offer. And we will be back in 2 weeks. So not this next Monday, but the Monday after. But until then, everyone, remember, you are never truly alone. Good night, everyone.